Alright, now it is time to finish up my Punch-Out training. So, I've already reviewed Punch-Out for the NES, and it was a great game. I liked it. Classic NES game. So, for the Super Nintendo, they released a sequel titled Super Punch-Out! Not only was this the same name that they used in the second arcade Punch-Out game, but they also used this as the name for the Super Nintendo console. So, how good is the sequel to the first Punch-Out game on the NES? Well, let's find out. Once you start the game, you would notice that you would get a file selection screen. Now that's something that wasn't in the original NES Punch-Out. In the NES Punch-Out, we just have a new and continue selections. By going to continue, you enter a password which you enter and you'll get put back right where you left off. But in the Super Nintendo version, they gave you a file selection screen. So now I can create my file and input my name. Also, you would notice that there are more options in this game than the NES version. There's the championship mode, time attack mode, and the records view mode. Time attack is where you can select whatever boxer that you want to fight to get a better time.
Yay!
The records view mode is where you can view all of your records throughout the whole game. But to access those, you'd have to complete any of the other circuits. Now, moving on to the championship mode, you can actually select any of the circuits in this game, which again is not in the original NES version. Though you'd have to complete any one of the circuits in order to access any of the other circuits throughout the whole game. Now, it's time to face off in the ring. One thing that you would notice is that the gameplay style is more like the original arcade Punch-Out game. Now, those features may seem promising that this game would be better than the NES game, right? You may think that, but it's really not, actually. This game is just not as great as the original NES Punch-Out game. Why is that? Well, first of all, let's take a look at Little Mac. Seriously? What the heck? He does not look anything like he did in the original NES Punch-Out. In the original NES Punch-Out, Little Mac was more like Rocky Balboa. He is willing to fight for freedom no matter what it takes. And that's what he does. In Super Punch-Out, Little Mac has apparently gone Super Saiyan. He doesn't resemble anything like he did in the original Punch-Out. Now, I could accept that they would give Little Mac some of the basic character changes here and there, but to just change the whole character of his, it's like, I don't get it. What's up with that? Another thing about this game is that the character selection just sucks. First of all, if you look at the cover to the game, you would see Bald Bull, Mr. Sandman, and Super Macho Man, all characters from the original NES Punch-Out. Well, guess what? These are the only characters from the NES Punch-Out that actually appear in this game. So, what other lame characters did they use in this game? Well, for starters, there's Gabby J. He's some kind of Frenchman who's been in boxing for years and has apparently only won one match throughout his entire boxing career. I wonder why the boxing industry would still let him be in the boxing ring after all these years, let alone be in the minor circuit. If you can't beat this guy, you might as well just quit playing the game altogether. But now, I'm going to be moving on to one of the most stereotypical and offensive characters in the game, Bear Hugger. Well, look who I'm fighting here! Some kind of big fat man!
Bear Hugger!
One thing stereotypical about this guy is that he's from Canada. And, well, why is that? I kinda wonder what the Canadians would think about this guy who actually played this game. I mean, seriously, if I were Canadian, I might actually be offended by this guy. Seriously, Bear Hugger gives Canada a bad name. I could probably go on about how stereotypical Bear Hugger is, but I'm not even going to go there. So anyway, another lame character that they used in this game is Piston Hurricane. I know Piston Hurricane was in the original arcade Punch-Out game, But if I were into that game anywhere near as much as I was playing the NES Punch-Out, then I'd probably be happy to see him return in this game. But, to tell you the truth, I didn't even like him that much. Honestly, I find him to be really lame, and he's just so easy. So, screw this guy, I'd go for Piston Honda over this guy any day. Now, I'm not calling Super Punch-Out a bad game or anything, but I don't really think that this game is a very anticipated sequel to the first Punch-Out game. I mean, it's like, it's like this game has a lot of flaws that I've been going over, and, it's just not as great as the first Punch-Out game on the NES. The part that I hate most about this game is that it breaks any type of rules in boxing. Like, the time you have to complete the boxing arena is just freaking ridiculous. In the NES Punch-Out, you have 3 full rounds in the ring. If you don't win any of the 3 rounds, then you would still have a chance to win by judge's decision. Same rules in real boxing has, right? Well, that's right. But in Super Punch-Out, they're just like, well, screw that. If you're in the ring for 3 minutes total, and you don't get a break. That's right. And if you fail to beat your opponent by the time the 3 minutes is up, then your opponent wins no matter what advantage you have. I mean, how freaking lame is that? Also, some of the enemies that you fight don't even follow the rules of boxing. One example is Dragon Chan. Yeah, that's right, some kind of Jackie Chan wannabe. And guess what this guy's special move in this game is? He kicks you in the face. Now hold on for just one moment here. Kicking? But kicking is illegal in boxing. Did the people who make this game actually read the rules of boxing? Now, I don't think this game is that bad. It's a playable game, better than other boxing titles that I've played, actually, but I don't think the game was that great. So, Super Punch-Out, I don't really consider this game to be a very worthy sequel to the first Punch-Out game on the NES. I mean, it's like, I consider this game more as a different boxing game altogether. I think Nintendo was trying to make a good sequel to the first Punch-Out game on the NES, but I didn't really think it was very worthy. Not saying that this is a terrible game, but I definitely don't consider it to be a great game as well. I mean, it's like the gameplay is nice, the graphics are decent. In fact, I kind of consider this game to be better than other boxing games that I played. So, which leads me to my final score. 5.5 out of 10. Yeah, I would go for this game any day. But I think the fact that Nintendo didn't make this a very worthy sequel was the reason why this was the last Punch-Out game to be released. Or at least, it was the last Punch-Out game until now. Because Punch-Out for the Nintendo Wii has been released. And boy, am I gonna get it. I mean, I'm definitely gonna try to get it. It's been 15 years since the last Punch-Out game has been released. And I'll even do a future review of that, but that's not gonna be on the next review. The next review will be on something entirely different. So, be on the lookout for that.